Mexico. Take it away. Welcome to my video about an attempt at philosophically explaining what happens while you are learning a new language, which is, of course, not familiar at all in the beginning, and you wouldn't be able to understand anything at all. But it becomes gradually more familiar, and you start recognizing patterns, and you understand things, and finally you would be able to have a conversation with a native speaker of this language. And I want to explain what happens in this process. So, when I talk about the process of language learning, then I have to say in this video that I only talk about sounds. You would be able to convert the system, which I'm attempting to explain to you. You would be able to convert it probably, but not certainly, to symbols in general. So you could represent written languages, or you would be able to represent sign languages, for example the languages of deaf people. And yeah, back to this video. So when I talk about sounds, then I really mean successions of sounds. These are some kind of clusters or groups, which could be either syllables, words, or sentences in general. And they are pretty interesting when you have this consciousness of these successions of sound. Then you could realize they are temporal, they need time. They are something like a melody, for example. And another thing that you can realize about these successions of sound are certain implications. And the biggest implication is they have certain expectations what is possible in their surroundings. So one word or syllable, a succession of sound, has a certain expectation what follows after it, or about what precedes it. So one example would be this little sentence in English: I go. This word I has a certain expectation about what follows after it. So you can say I go in English, but something like I tree wouldn't be possible. People wouldn't understand it. This tree breaks the expectations of this word I. So in English, this is not a valid sentence. So when talking about language learning, I would have to say that my claim is definitely that it's all about getting to know these expectations that are associated with these successions of sounds, with these syllables, these words, and these sentences. So there would be no way around getting to know the language properly. You have to spend a lot of time to recognize patterns, to recognize what is common in this language. And you don't have to care about these fancy words like grammar, cases, or morphology, or phonology, or something like this. It's all about these expectations of these successions of sound. And yeah, there's basically no shortcut around it to get to know the language properly. So, and finally I want to make a small experiment with you. So it might be possible that you're an English native speaker, that you maybe don't have too much experience getting to know a new language. language. So I want to simulate this experience within a short period of time. So I'm going to read a few sentences in Finnish, which is not a very common language. And afterwards, I want to read these same sentences with a bigger break in between these words to simulate a certain step while getting to know a new language. And afterwards, I want to add in English words which are familiar to you to simulate the experience of getting to know the language. So for this little experiment, I'm going to read these Finnish sentences. So if you get to know a new language, then it probably feels something like this. Minulla ei ole oma auto. Siksi en voi ajaa minun äidille kesällä. Siis olen kotona yksin. And if you get to know this language a little bit more, if it becomes a little bit more familiar to you, then you would recognize these spaces in between words. Then it would be something like this, probably. Minulla ei ole oma auto. Siksi en voi ajaa minun äidille kesällä. Siis olen kotona yksin. After reading these sentences in Finnish to you, I want to fill in certain English words to simulate the experience of getting to know the language or certain parts of the language. So the next step would be something like this. I don't have. Siksi I can ajaa minun tumatta kesällä. Siis ajan kotona yksin. Which probably doesn't really give you an idea what it's about. Maybe you have kind of an idea, but it's not a clear picture yet. So if you're learning the language a little bit more, then you can fill in more and more gaps. So the next step would be something like this. I don't have my own car. Siksi I can drive to my mother in summer. Siis I am alone at home. This might give you a better idea what it's about. These are just small gaps that are left. And when you reach this point in a language, you can guess what something means, and it's some kind of automatic process of filling in more and more gaps, so you don't even recognize it. And the last step would be that you would be able to understand everything clearly, like in English. So the sentences would be finally like this. I don't have my own car, therefore I can't drive to my mother in summer. So I am alone at home. I really hope you enjoyed my videos so far, and if you have some certain criticism about my theory, then I have to encourage you to write your arguments down below in the comments, and I would be really glad to hear what other people might think about this topic. So I can only encourage you to think about what I said, and I hope you enjoyed it so far. obviously, as every good philosopher has to do, I want to give you my kind of sources which I used. I based my theory or my idea vaguely on Sartre's idea of totality, and if you would be more interested in Sartre or maybe this kind of thinking, you could read into Sartre's Transcendence of Ego. And my general approach is supposed to be phenomenological, which was maybe not that obvious within the video, but this was my general approach on this topic. And if you are interested in this kind of stuff, then I can recommend Husserl in general. And there would be some kind of introduction to phenomenology. This would be the famous book, The Ideas. So the complete title is a little bit complicated, and I don't know its official translation in English, but it's commonly known as Ideas.